Joining me now is Dinesh D'Souza, conservative author and filmmaker, host of the Dinesh D'Souza podcast, starting on Monday. Dinesh, I can't help but think that Biden's promise of healing and unity, well, that's been swiftly followed by an attempt by his friends to eradicate all dissent.
I think what we've seen today is just horrific, and it, in a sense, almost puts the country into a kind of free fall. It's one thing to face disappointment and even frustration over an election. It's a complete other thing to say that all these new technologies that people have now integrated into their normal lives, ways in which they get information, ways in which they communicate with their friends, ways in which they express themselves politically, that these are going to be somehow snuffed out and closed to them, and that this is being done in a systematic way, not just against the President of the United States, banned permanently from these platforms, but also against ordinary citizens trying to speak out. I cannot think of a more horrific development. One of the most important things in an election, once the election is over, is to make your political opposition feel safe, to believe that the new government will represent their interests as well as the interests of the people who voted for that government. And the Biden administration and the left is doing exactly the opposite. They are terrifying the opposition into believing, ultimately, that not only will they have lost politically, but their basic civil liberties are now mortally endangered.
But don't they see that this is going to backfire? That this never works. I mean, it feels good in the moment. You feel like you have the wind at your back. But ultimately, it's going to grow the MAGA movement. I have no idea what President Trump is going to do. But that movement of people, it's not like they're going to say, oh, you banned me from Twitter. I'm definitely going to be on your side now.
There's no question that the MAGA movement will find its own outlet, and there's no question that it will ultimately find its voice. But I think what's disturbing here is the mentality of the other side. There's a certain jubilation on the left. They're actually providing lists of people to be banned next. And so I think all of this is really showing that you've got all these people in our country who don't believe in basic civil liberties, and they are in powerful